Okay. Morning, everybody. I'm Sam Amato. I'm one of the product owners on WFDS NextGen. And today we're going to go through some of the places you can put your outputs in WFDS NextGen, specifically for FS Pro, but also FlamMap if you've got some desktop outputs and you need to get those in the system, get those three pulled up. Go ahead and pop any questions into the chat. I'll pull that up so I can see that as we go. And we'll go through. This will be pretty quick to go through it in a demo. And then, yeah, just pop any of your questions in there and we'll save the rest of the time for that. All right, I'm going to turn off my camera to keep some bandwidth here, and then we'll get started. So, quick side note, you guys will notice if you get into EDU that the banner is green now. We did a deployment early this morning to EDU and prod. So if you notice any weird errors or anything today, please reach out to the RD&A and let us know about those, just in case there was any bugs with the release. So for the demo today, I'm going to use this Alexander Mountain incident that I have a few outputs for. And mainly we're going to be working in the analysis tab. It is important to note that, even though you can mark an analysis included in decision, we don't have it set up where we can do like we were in WFDS Classic, where we put in kind of a templated output into your decision yet. That's going to require some tweaks to our underlying ArcGIS version. And once we get those figured out, which it is on the docket to do that this year, you will have some kind of automatic templated outputs put into your decision. But for now, you've got to do it manually, and that's what we're going to be walking through. So I'm going to turn off some of these layers just to make this a little easier to look at. Turn off my ignitions as well, and I'll leave my barrier on actually. And I'm going to turn off some of the other outputs. So if you're a fire behavior analyst, when you get into WFDS, and we do have a enhancement ticket in for this, but all your layers turn on by default, so you have to come in here and turn these off. Everything you don't want to see. And one quick other sidebar is we have a couple other outputs available in the map. They've always been available in WFDS Classic as downloads, but now you can see them in the UI. So if you're curious on that, we've got the average flame length in here now and the average arrival time, which are both kind of handy and give a little bit more nuance to your outputs. But we'll look at the burn probability since that's what we're usually using. And one other side note I want to make about map layers. So to control the order of your map layers, what you can do is drag things up and down in the group layers here. So you see I can just grab that national incident reference layer. So that's why you'll see my disturbance layer is up on top of my analysis, and it's because I grabbed my disturbance history and pulled it up here. That'll stay like that for the duration of your session, but as soon as you log out, it'll go back to default. So if there's a particular view you like viewing, right now we don't have the ability to set that as default. You'll have to do that each time you get in. Okay, so I've gone through and pre-ran this analysis. And what we're going to do is go over here to the analysis tab in the existing analysis. And you can see here that this is an incident that I share with Sarah and we do some testing in. And so you can see she already put some things in here. Let's say I had rerun this analysis and now I want to update this. So in order to do that, I have to unclick Ready for Publication. It'll prompt me that unmarking Ready for Publication will prevent publishing a decision. Are you sure you want to do that? Yeah, I do, because I need to edit it. And then I can click in here and I can add my own image. So in order to get those images, you have a couple different options. You can use the screen capture that comes on your machine. In Windows, I think it's called snipping tool. I don't know what it's called on a Mac, but it's just Control-Shift-4. You can do the same thing. NextGen does have this print map functionality now. This is pretty nice, actually. If you want to take some of these maps out in the field, the PDF is georeferenced. So if you pull your MAPs and I don't know, maybe some fire behavior outputs and a planning area or course of action, and you export that as a PDF, you can pull that into Avenza and it's georeferenced. But other formats are available in here. The only formats that you can put in the rich text editor are image formats. So any of the JPEGs, PNGs, I believe you can put a GIF in there. I don't know if you can put a TIFF, probably. But I would just stick to the generic, JPEG or PNG. I'll just do it as a PNG 32, actually. If you're exporting this as an image, you would need to pull your legend up for that to appear in the PNG. So you pull that up. If you don't care for that and you're just going to explain it, you can just hit export. It'll start to generate it. And then once it's generated, you can click on that file and download it. So I've already done that, so we don't necessarily need to wait for the. Oh, hold up. I see a question. How did you call up the print? I looked away to type notes. It's this little print map icon at the bottom of the map. So just down here in your widget toolbar, the icon to the far right. Okay, so this rich text editor is pretty simple. If you want a little bit more space, don't forget you can expand that right-hand panel. You just click upload image from your computer. You can also copy and paste if you had it on your clipboard or something. So I got this FlamMap outputs. I don't have my FS Pro one in here, but I'm just going to grab one of these FlamMap outputs here just to demonstrate what that looks like. So if you were grabbing something from FlamMap or WinNinja or some desktop fire behavior application, or even a system outside of WFDSS, like if you're running stuff in WFA, right? If you want to bring that in here, you just need to screen capture it or otherwise output it as an image. And then you can either copy paste it in here or upload it like I just did. Then you can modify the size of it, and you can also choose how you want it to appear, whether it's right justified or left justified, and whether you want it inline with text or you want it to be a break in text. Right now it's set as a inline with text, but let's switch it over to break in text. And then if I wanted to make it the same size as the other one, I can drag that out a little bit. And then I could add whatever explanation text I wanted to. In this case, I just output it out of a PowerPoint. The whole slide is an image. And in that slide were some notes that Sarah had put together on this particular FlamMap run. So as an analyst, this is kind of an easy way to call this stuff out and speak to the map, is the ability in PowerPoint to do some of this kind of thing. If you just want to do it just like a normal caption like you would in WFDSS Classic, you can do that as well. And they do have these toggle caption on. You can add some alt text if you want to do that. By no means do you have to, but you can turn on a caption, enter a caption. This is a FlamMap. Okay, and then now that caption will be attached to that image. If you ever decide you want to turn it off, this was a little bit of a pain in Classic. But if you decide you want to turn it off, you can just click on it up here. It turns it right off. And when you turn it back on, your text is still in there. If you need to edit the text later, you can totally do that as well, which is kind of nice. I would use this analysis section in the analysis summary for not just your analysis outputs, but also, let's say you had like long-term implementation plan stuff, right? Like a long-term assessment. You had any climatological stuff. Basically treat this like the modeling section in WFDSS Classic. And anybody that is a collaborator can put information in here. There was a bug keeping incident editors from editing this field, and we just fixed that with that latest release that also pushed the banner color. So everybody should be able to edit this. I would say it's probably the analyst's responsibility to put their own stuff in here. But if there's additional information people want to add as far as like drought outlooks, or they want to add some pictures of fire behavior in here, or that kind of thing to add context to those fire behavior analyses, this is the place to do it. That doesn't mean you can't do it in other spots. Like if you wanted to talk about potential duration of the fire, maybe you want to add an FS Pro to that in relative risk. And at this point, I'll also mention it's important to keep in mind there is no more content tree in WFDSS NextGen. So it's going to be on the user to kind of keep their images and content that they want to put into a decision organized. And if you do delete an image out of the decision, just know that that's then gone. There is no more content tree. So as a matter of course, if I was working on a decision, I would always save an image before I deleted it if I were you, and just put a quick label on it. That way, if you accidentally move that or the other user comes back in and they're like, hey, what happened to my image? You have a copy of it. So you can do that by right-clicking on there, and then you can save the image as, and I would just keep a folder on your desktop for whatever incident you're working on. Just clearly label that image. So that was pretty quick overview of how analysis works. But I think we hit all the bases. We covered how to print the map, the fact that your FS Pro outputs do not automatically go into the decision, even if they're marked complete for strategic use. It's still on you to capture those and put the write-up in here if you want that stuff in the decision. If you don't want to include anything in the decision, you can just put a quick synopsis in this analysis summary. We decided it wasn't appropriate to use analysis in the context of this incident, and then you could just save it. At this point, I'll open it up to questions on analysis summary. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about? Oh, hey, Tanya.
Hey, Sam. Thanks for all that. That's cool. I was wondering about, so I'm an analyst, there's a published decision. I'm going to go in and rerun FS Pro, and because I have new perimeter or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When I do that, if I was to go in and unpublish and replace my image and my content here, it would prompt the approver to go in and reapprove. Is that right?
Well, once we get the manual validation, that's true. But right now, keep in mind the validation is manual. You have to do it. So when you come over here to decision approval and assessment, the required decision element section, you turn this on. And if you don't mark something ready for approval, when you go to publish the decision, let's say you just go through and you check all these boxes, right? Including the analysis summary. It's only going to publish the parts of the decision that are marked ready for approval. So until we get that automatic system validation in, this is the way it's going to work. You're just going to have to over communicate that. But ideally, when somebody's coming in here and they're marking these check boxes, it's best practice right now because the validation is manual, that you go through each of those sections and make sure that it's ready for approval and that you have checked whatever you need to check. As I was going through that checklist, I would make sure that my current planning area spatial inventory is created after my latest planning area. And on the analysis summary part, I would make sure that this is checked ready for publication. Because if it's not, all that work you just did isn't going to show up in the decision.
Right. So I'm thinking if I already have a published decision and then as the analyst, I go in and I reconfigure this analysis, I update it, I have invalidated the published decision. Is that right or not? Does that make sense?
Not really. I mean, the decision was valid when it was published, right? You've just started
Right.
a new decision, basically. The decision's a living document, so
Oh, okay. So the
it,
old decision remains in place on even if
yep.
I go in and mess with the analysis. And then I would have to communicate to the AA that I've got a new bona fide analysis. They should go in and re-sign it, reapprove
If
if they want.
if it
Okay.
merits a republication, right? Maybe they're still waiting on updating relative risk or updating org
Yeah.
assessment or
Yep.
whatever.
Okay. I got it. Thanks, Sam. I think
Yeah, and
Ashley's got a question. Oh, go ahead.
oh well, before I get to Ashley, another reminder on that kind of gets to your question too, Tanya, is remember there's no notifications in WFDS NextGen right now. So if you punch that ready for approval button, or you draw a new planning area, or you make a fire behavior analysis request, there's no functionality in the system to send out those notifications to various users. So you're going to have to communicate that stuff manually, which is a
Copy.
pain, but
Yep.
that's just where
No
we're at.
problem. Yep. Thank you.
Go ahead, Ashley.
So, Sam, can you bring in outputs from Farsight, like arrival time and stuff like that, or would it be better just to do an image?
It would be better to bring it in as an image. There's no way to bring it into the map per se.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. So you put it in some other GIS or something, bring it in as an image.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would just screen capture the outputs just like I did with this FlamMap here,
Yep.
this
Okay.
FlamMap output. And you could just bring it in as a straight, grid. Oh, let me turn that off. So if I was going to just upload just an image, this is kind of what this flame length output looks like if I just wanted to speak to that. And then you could add a caption associated with it.
Okie dokie. Thank you.
When we do finally get Farsight MTT and oh, you cut out for a second, or I did. When we do bring that stuff in with service though, so that and I think the service for FlamMap, or sorry, excuse me, FS Pro outputs is almost ready, so that when you mark an FS Pro complete for strategic use in WFDS, that'll be available in the NIFs. So if you want to look at it in EGP and they're consuming that service, you'll be able to.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Barry, go ahead.
Hey, Sam, I just wanted to confirm, well, a couple things. There was the box, the checkbox for don't include an analysis. If you have that checked, that doesn't preclude you from actually dropping an analysis in the box, right? Like, and including that. That's just a box for if you don't have anything, but that wouldn't keep an analysis from showing up, having that checked. I just wanted to make sure on that. And then, go ahead.
Well, first to that, Barry, this box, it would do exactly what you said once we get that functionality working for the automatic templates. It's not working right now. So this is kind of a dead box to just say, I didn't want to put any analysis in this write-up. Eventually what's going to happen is you can see here include in decision in these analyses. So like, let's go into this one. And if I come over here to run results, so later this year, when we get to this functionality of automatically including a templated output in your decision, if you were to mark this complete for strategic use, I get an option to include it in the decision. So it doesn't work this way right now, but later this year, once we get that set up and we'll announce it in a release, if you were to click this box, what we would do is take your output, put it in a templated format, and put it right in the decision. So eventually what's going to happen with that box there is that this is going to be a validation that is going to check and see if you don't have, you have to have some analysis included in your decision, or you need to check this box. So best practice right now is I would just click this box on, unless you have some complete for strategic use and you mark it include in decision. But it's not going to go automatically into the decision anyway. So it's just a way to flag it that I used this in my decision making.
Okay. And there is, I just haven't seen a published decision either in training or production that included an analysis. And I thought I'd heard something about that there wasn't even a placeholder in the PDF file for the analysis tab yet. Can you confirm that, or does this all work if you include some images and mark it ready for publication? Does it make its way into the decision, the PDF?
It's pretty stripped down right now. I don't believe this goes into the decision right now.
Okay.
Into the published decision, but
into the
I think that might have been a bug, and I'm not sure if that bug got fixed in this release or if it's coming in the next one. So I will have to get back to you on that one, Barry.
Okay. And therefore, if you had multiple decisions, if you had an FS Pro that it had expired and you wanted to include a new one, and you, right now, if you removed it from that rich text box and then put a new one in there, I mean, really the only snapshot of that run that you have would be in that published PDF decision, right? It doesn't stay in the system anyway. The run does. The run's there, and you can pull it back up, but that you use
Correct.
it. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
I caught most of that. Yeah, if you had an image you put here in between published decisions and you deleted it, it's gone. Right.
Right.
There's no record of it.
Right. But that
it lives nowhere in the system.
Right. But if you had published a decision during that time, you would have that snapshot in the PDF if that is working, if that's
right.
There. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The published decision is your record of the decision. There's not a change history or track history or anything.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Jonathan.
Yeah, I want to tag in to Barry's question. So when you have a decision that you've completed, for strategic use and you check the box to include in the decision, and then let's say, you know, a couple weeks later, you do another analysis and you want that one to be included, do you have to go back to the previous ones and uncheck the include in decision, or does that automatically get unchecked when you put another one in there?
No, it won't. There's not a limit on how many you can include in the decision, if that's what you're getting at.
Well, not exactly, because it's more of, let's say you've had a fire on the landscape for, you know, 2 months, and you've included an FS Pro run in a previous decision, and you're publishing a new decision, and you're going to have a new FS Pro that you want included. Is it now going to include both of those unless you go back and uncheck the first one? Or will that get unchecked automatically when you check the new one?
So it won't get unchecked automatically just because you added a new one. When it would get unchecked automatically is if it expires. If you set an expiration date on it, and you said, all right, this, you know, I'm really confident about the weather for the next 5 days in the forecast, and I feel pretty good about this FS Pro for the next 5 days. And so you set an expiration date 5 days from now. At the end of that 5 days, this include in decision will get unchecked because you can't have an expired analysis in your decision. Otherwise, you would have to manually go in here and unclick it.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
But you would see that here on the table too, Jonathan. So like, you know, before you mark this section ready to publish, I would probably just take a quick peruse through your analysis list here and see what's included in your decision and what isn't.
Gotcha. Yeah, that'll be helpful to find which one might be checked. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. And later this year, we're also hoping to deploy the ability to delete analyses, ones that, of course, haven't been completed. But let's say you had a bunch of stuff in review or assigned and you're just trying to clean up your list, you'll be able to delete those now. You won't be able to delete complete for operational use or complete for strategic use. Yeah, I agree, Ashley. Any other questions? We have plenty of time left. Oh, the other thing I will say before we end the session is, in addition to delete, we're hoping to get copy analysis in here. So right now, it's a pretty painful process to duplicate your analysis. But that is one of the next things after the next release. So it's a second priority right now. So we're hoping to have that in here midsummer, maybe. Depends how quickly the work goes, but just let you guys know that is underway. With a copy of a complete decision with fire analysis in there, please. Well, we can try and publish this one right now. So let me just make sure my analysis is done here.
I just did. It's not there.
Okay, that's still buggy.
But you can try it.
No, I'm good. If you tried it, sir, it doesn't work. Yeah, and in the 1.1 release will be all parts of the decision will come along with that system validation. So that's what's currently under development right now. we're about 30 to 40% of the way through that 1.1 release. We had a lot of bugs to catch up on. So it's on track, but I'm not sure when that's going to be coming out. Hopefully soon. Yeah, Ben, I don't think the analysis summary is going to end up in there.
Yet.
We'll see if we can get that in there in the 1.2 release. Or 1.0.2. This last release was the 1.0.1. So it'll be our next small release. Any other questions? All right. Well, if you guys have any other questions offline, please reach out to us. Ask those. If you have any feedback or enhancement requests too, please feel free to get those to us as well. All right. Thanks, everybody.